And welcome everyone to game number 3 between Stefanovich and Uncia and the MSL Code A Winners Bracket Finals. This is of course Neoplanet S, you can tell from the cool snow tile set and the crazy looking minimap that I'll talk about here in just a moment. Casting with me this evening, I have the fine gentleman Nibbling, casting from the inside of a Terran starport. I don't know if you've heard this before. If you hear any crazy noises, it's generally Banshee pilots, occasionally a battlecruiser landing, so don't worry about that. It's totally normal.
Absolutely. All OSHA regulations followed here.
Yeah. So just getting into the game a little bit right here, just want to point out that we do have, in the bottom left-hand corner, the Zerg player Unica, or Uncia, or Pink Zerg, whatever you'd like to call this particular gentleman down here. And his opponent up here in the top right-hand corner is, of course, Stefanovich. So far in this matchup, we've gone 1-1. So it's a best of 5. We always love to see games go right back and forth. You know, it's a best of 5, so it could go 2 wins, 1 win, and then 2 more wins or 3. But I really always like the ones that are right back to back. It adds a feeling of suspense that you don't get anywhere else. And right here, we do see Unica going for a pretty early pool. I guess it was a 14 pool, not terribly large or early. He is delaying that hatchery quite a bit, though. So this could be really interesting. His opponent, Stefanovich, is going for a Forge First Fast Expand, realizing that his opponent has previously gone for a Fast Expansion every game. But this time, he went pool first, so pool hatch is a very different opening than hatch pool. We're going to see how that works out for him this game.
I'm excited. You don't usually see players jumping styles like that in the middle, especially where it worked for him last game.
It's true. You know, at the very tip top of pro games, pro gamers, you will see them trying different builds, particularly on different maps, as different maps are better for different builds. But generally, at the lower skill levels, I think the Code A was primarily gold players this season, so not bad. Definitely solidly in the middle of the Starcraft community, and I feel like it's really getting into the gold is really like you started to actually practice generally. You started to actually kind of get a kind of handle on current builds and things like that. So and then it's just refinement from there. The differences between that and all the other leagues. So yeah, but you just don't generally see people changing up their builds too much. So really interested to see how this one works out. And then one other thing I was mentioning about the map before. This map, like I said, has a spiffy tile set. It's fancy. If you have the physics on high enough, when things die, the bodies slide across the ice. It's pretty sweet.
Skidding, it's my favorite.
It is. It's pretty sweet. We do see another expansion. So interesting. Early you want pool,
early pool
hatch,
into double expand.
Yeah, exactly. What that does is allows him to have earlier queens and earlier lings. But as of right now, he only has 1 queen and he has no lings. So we're going to see how that works out. But this map has something really unique about it, and that's that there's no direct path to your opponent. There's a ring right around here. You can see on the minimap. I'm kind of cruising around. This is the attack path. There's this area in the middle with gold expansions. You don't generally see it taken because it's so difficult to hold. But this is a map that generally favors base races, or doesn't favor. You see a lot more of them because unless you have really accurate information on where your opponent is, you might accidentally be up here while your opponent's down here. So
that's going to be one thing that the Pink Zerg player has gotten his advantage, because if he's producing larvae out of both his first and his third, he can respond from either side.
It's true. It's a little bit of an interesting location for the third. Generally, people take this other expansion here that's tucked down into the bottom middle of the map. So it might actually go unscouted for a little while because it's a little bit of an atypical place. Back home, we do finally see something interesting coming out from Stefanovich. I say that not unkindly. I'm just saying, generally, Forge Fast Expands are pretty simple. You have a Forge, then you have a Gate, then you have a Nexus. Instead, we saw the Nexus delayed a little bit to get that Cybernetics core and a Stargate, and so now we have a Phoenix out.
Ooh.
So
that should help with map control.
It will. It'll really allow. Oh, I thought those were going to be overlords. No, instead we just have Zerglings all over the map. Another way when you don't have watchtowers to take map control. But these Phoenixes can be really annoying. Pick off some of the Overlords, although most of the Overlords are pretty well protected. You know, they're not out in a corner somewhere, or they're not out on the map. So it should be pretty fine for the most part. And he's stacking up. You know, he's continuing. Well, he's not continuing to build. He has 2 of them. He's getting a mothership core. Gonna see exactly what goes on here. This expansion is almost done. What is the unit count? Somehow,
yeah, greater army, but less workers.
Yeah, he's down in workers by about 10. And Unica here doing a pretty good job, continuing to scout. Noticing it's pretty late, actually, to have this base saturated. He's trying to figure out what is up from his opponent. He's going to send that Overlord in, hopefully try to suicide and get something. The Phoenixes, though, are already out and gone, so he might see the mothership, or the starport. In fact, he should. There's nothing here to defend it. We do see gateways 2 and 3 coming up, but he doesn't see it yet. I think he's going to get attacked at his 3rd before... Okay, no, he did, in fact, see that starport. And what's he going to do? He's got 1 queen at his expansion. There's no creep connecting them. It's going to take forever to get any help with that. There's enough Phoenixes here to lift up and take out that queen. He does have 2 queens trying to come to the rescue, but the problem is this air distance is so small. Oh. So with
Queen
2
actually
queens
got
here,
a 2nd round there.
It did. I was really surprised by that.
Ooh, good save. Or, oh, nope.
So we're to impasse.
Sad day. Yes.
Oh, okay, now 1 more. Focus it down. Focus it down. Got it.
Yeah.
This is a really kind of funny situation. Just going to see what's building. Not overreaction out of Unica. Really like to see that, but we do see a Void Ray out of Stefanovich. So now we do have Warp Gate done. We do have +1 armor on the way. We do have +1 weapons already done. But 1 Void Ray against, and 3 Phoenixes against whatever anti-air we have. We do have 2 Spore Crawlers at this 3rd base. We do now have creep connecting everywhere, so Queens will be able to get everywhere much more quickly. We have the Infestation Pit and the Spire going down at the same time, which is a huge investment in gas, but he does have the gas to do that right now. He's not really spent any of it previously. We do have the Phoenixes coming in here on the bottom side with 2 Queens. It looks like they should be able to force this out, but not before they take out some additional Queens. Or by Queens, I meant Overlords. My mistake.
Going for the supply block, but he's got extras, so no harm, no foul there to the Zerg player.
Yeah, generally, Zerg players you see wear a little bit, I've actually heard it referred to as a little bit of a hat in terms of supply. Generally, they have a buffer of more like 30 or 40 supply, especially later on into the game, instead of the more common, you know, like 15, 10 that you see out of most other players. Simply because you can build so many units at the same time as Zerg, and so you need to have the ability to do that. And then also, Overlords serve multiple purposes, so...
It's true.
So.
Still seeing more workers out of Zerg like he did last game. I would see it go in favor if he can keep the late game up. I would definitely recommend, if I were Stefanovich, to be this ball of death outside his natural, out with the sky toss on a 2-pronged attack, kind of, you know, Zerg player on his toes, because otherwise you can be out macroing him here in 10 minutes.
It's true. Looking at the unit count, it's actually it's getting a little bit lopsided. I mean, we have a 14 worker advantage, although Stefanovich is starting up that base, and Unica does in fact know that it exists. He hasn't made any overt moves towards it yet, but he does know it. One other thing I want to point out was that he had researched Enduring Locusts here just a little bit ago, so he is now starting to produce Swarm Hosts. So Swarm Host Muta, as it looks like the composition that he's going to want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I really am just interested to see... we don't see a Fleet Beacon out of Stefanovich yet. The only reason that's important is because you can research the range upgrade. And Void Rays are okay against mutas. They're not that great. This isn't a huge number of mutas. We only have, what is that, 13? But there's 3 Stalkers, 2 Phoenixes, and 3 Void Rays. That should be able to actually force this off, but not before he's trying to get a little bit of damage done. He does snipe one of those Phoenixes, But he leaves, losing actually a good number. He lost 2 of them there to 1 Phoenix. Not entirely clear if that was the best decision at this point in time, but he is now going to be getting that 3rd or 4th base of his own. And I really like how he's basically already connected everything with creep. He just needs to continue spreading that as it serves multiple purposes. Of course, as I say that, it's continuing to spread it right here. Excellent job. My hat is virtually off to you. I say that because I don't wear hats. It's just not really my thing.
Headsets especially, yeah, just kind of not conducive.
It really isn't. We have a proxy pylon down
half
here.
the map. Oh, snap.
So a proxy's good. So just a little tidbit. Look up games from Acer Scarlet. Scarlet, one of the only female pro gamers that I know. She popularized this 4 and 6 queen opening. And she's famous for having creep spread out to about here. Basically to their opponent's 3rd or 4th by about the 15-minute mark. So not too far off from Unica. So good job there. I just really feel like right now, with this good creep spread and with the number of swarm hosts that he has, he could be really harassing and causing some pain to his Protoss opponent. And instead, he's just kind of sitting back. And I think it's going to come back and kind of bite him a little bit. As now Stefanovich is having the time, and he's starting to get closer in the worker count. He's only down by 12, or by 8 now, being able to chrono boost things. And the army sizes are starting to equalize. So, just really unclear how this is going to work out. In the production tab, we see a lot of upgrades coming from Unica, but not lots of extra units. We do see 3 Vipers. That's really an important thing to note, actually, because the hive is in fact finished. Good job on all of the larva injects. That's actually a really important thing. I just feel like this composition, he needs more of something. I know it sounds really nebulous. He's got a lot of minerals, he's got a decent amount of gas, and we do have some zealots here counterattacking at the 4th that I think should get noticed here in just a moment. See how fast he reacts. He's gonna
he's doing the Muta attack here on the 2nd, and if he does it right, he should get a good number of probe kills.
He's afraid of those, he's completely afraid of the cannons,
it's unfortunate.
He's gonna let those mutas heal up and then run back in. He's gonna try to find a sweet spot. No, he does not. And a lot of Phoenixes now are gonna actually be able to clean those up. I do believe they have the upgraded range. No, they don't have the upgraded range, but it is oh so close. These mutas are gonna be shut down hardcore here in just a moment. Some Dark Templar as well. How did I miss the Dark Templar shrine? Dark Templar are gonna take out. Oh no!
The swarm hosts.
Does he see anything? He does. He in fact had a spore crawler there. Good call on that. Seeing the sky toss. So now it's just how in the world is he going to transfer this composition? So he does have Vipers. Vipers are excellent, particularly against things like Colossi. However, notice the fact that there's no Colossi. They're also quite good against...
Yeah, not really lots of high-value units.
Yeah, Void Rays are something that you can abduct that's actually pretty worthwhile. The problem is if they get enough Void Rays.
Right. Still kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
It's just no Immortals, no Colossi, which are really your 2 favorites, I think.
It's true. Well, Immortals actually generally get left behind. They're in the beginning of the game, they're quite valuable to fight against. Ooh, a lot of queens. That could be really bad. Look at those mass queens.
Yeah, look at that. That's 10 queens.
Transfuses.
Impressive.
I'm wondering if he's going to make the transition to Ultras here sometime soon. Because Ultra Queen Broodlord is actually really terrifying to play against. If microed
and he could
correctly.
with this creep spread. I mean, he's already got more than half the map. He's creeped pretty much up to his opponent's base. The queens could keep up.
Yep, that's a really important thing with that. We do have some of these Phoenixes out of position. He needs to burrow those. Okay, there he goes.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, here we go. A whole bunch of Locusts coming out. They do have the Enduring Locust upgrade. I'm trying to see what the army size is. Unica's army size is still massively larger. And it looks like instead Stefanovich is just simply electing not to engage. Uh-oh. Because he got that fleet beacon earlier, he was now able to actually produce Tempests. Tempests, excellent units. Not very much DPS against anything that's not massive, and there's no massive units here. So some interesting interesting choices in terms of unit composition. Not sure how this is going to work out. And now also, the Hydras are out of position to protect the Swarm Hosts.
The Swarm Hosts.
And at any point in time, yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, and they're running Locusts.
Okay, good. Why are they running away from the Locust? They should be able to eat that easily. I guess they don't want to engage free units. A whole bunch. Look how fast they ate those Zealots for lunch.
I was about to say, I don't think they want to take the shield damage. I mean, he just got those portents.
It's true. It looks like we're going to have a big counterattack. I told you this is a map of counterattacks. Just
You
because we
did
have a
call
good
it.
attack here, we're going to have another big attack right here.
You know
and
how
now,
I feel about base trading.
Swarm Hosts are good, but their Locusts are slow off creep, and they're not the greatest for base trading. It looks like he's going to try to go back and defend, but I don't know if that's the right decision here.
Agreed. I would stay in base trade. He's totally got it.
Yeah, I think he could have DPS'd this down. Tempests are really slow. Zealots, Stalkers are okay. I would have probably just chosen to continue moving around the map. He is actually maxed, though. He did leave the Swarm Hosts there to continue eating away at the map, or the base. But there's a big engagement down here. The Tempest doing lots of damage. The Phoenix is doing good damage as well. The Hydra is getting good DPS. The Queen's not actually transfusing very much.
It doesn't matter. He's got the concave, and Physics 6 takes. He with the concave wins the battle.
Yeah, excellent move there. So, but now, where?
107 to 4 army.
Yeah, it looks like this might not go very well for Stefanovich. The probes do transfer. They're going to throw down another base. Some Dark Templar here. It's a good thing to defend against stuff, actually. Some Mutas here trying to harass, realizing that there's not near enough of them to do anything hurtful or anything like that.
Oh, ET's go. Oh, not going for the Swarm House.
No, I don't think there's an observer. I was actually just checking for that. Hydras and Locusts, they're in the wrong places. The Locusts are going to die before they can get a chance to get into the fight. The Hydras stuck at the back, or in the front, instead of at the back where they'd like to be. DT's not being noticed, but it doesn't seem to matter. Stefanovich taps out the GG, and it looks like Unica is actually going to go up 2-1 after falling down the first game. So an excellent matchup so far, and a really interesting playstyle. A different opening out of Unica this game. Uncia, I'd really like to know how to say that at some point in my life, albeit probably not right now. And I feel like... so what would you say the tipping point was for this game over there, Nibley?
I don't know that there was so much one specific point, but if there was one factor that really threw it for the Zerg player, it was the creep spread. So in the beginning I said that the third choice might have been nice because he can go both ways, and I think I'm going to stand by that. Going both ways and spreading creep both ways, even his early Zerglings all scouted both ways, and I think that really helped him always know which way to come from, that Stefanovich didn't quite have.
It's true, and actually, so we only have one observer out on the map from Stefanovich. I do feel like earlier on in the game, it would have been better to have a little bit more information. There wasn't a lot of scouting, I guess is kind of what I'm saying here. You knew that, Stefanovich knew that there was 3 bases at the 14-minute mark, but basically nothing else. So I think I agree with that assessment. Creep spread here was quite instrumental, because remember, Queens don't fight well off of creep at all, and neither do Swarm Hosts. So it's a good call there. Good job continuing to creep spread. It could have been a little bit better, as those Queens all had a lot of energy, and you know, 8 Queens sitting there. You could throw down 8 creep tumors and then spread the creep really quickly. But overall, I also feel like Unica did a good job keeping tabs on his opponent. He knew when that 3rd base went down. He was able to kind of deny that. And as long as he was able to stay 1 base up on his opponent, he was actually doing quite fine. So, excellent move, and we're going to be right back with game number 4 here in just a moment. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoy it. Share it with your friends, and we'll be back